Atlantis. That's book 2. Book 3 will be out within the month, is what I'm hoping. All 5 books are finished. They're just waiting their turn. And I'm obsessed with ancient history and the dark part of history and the Mayans. They just totally fascinated me. So I wrote Skull of Salvation. But
and
since
when I
wrote
was,
of,
oh,
since
when
I
I was
wrote
reviewing,
of Atlantis,
mm-hmm.
Since I wrote of Atlantis, I've changed my genre. Now I write psychological thrillers.
Because when I was reviewing your Skulls of Salvation, how you said how it's set in modern day, and it takes the reader on a quest to save mankind through the jungles of belief and the Mayan ruins. So basically, do you believe in the whole Mayan calendar saying that the world will end in 2012? Is that what made Skulls of Salvation grabs the reader's attention a little bit more?
I would say so, but the Mayans never said that it was going to be destruction. They said it was going to be either or, an awakening or destruction. And a lot of people just jumped on the idea, since their calendar ended on the winter equinox of 2012, that'd be the end of the world. But, something's going to happen. And if it is destruction, there's nothing we can do about it, because the alignment that's supposed to happen on the winter equinox of 2012 is scientifically backed up by NASA. The alignment is going to happen. There's nothing that we can do about that.
Mhm.
Okay, and just moving on to another one of your novels, what inspired you to write Destiny's Light? And then if you maybe just want to give a little bit of background on what that's all about.
Well, Destiny's Light is a short story, and I have a friend that's into broadcasting. He does radio shows also, and he dared me to write a story about the light in the tunnel and what it would be like, if you found out the light wasn't inviting. So that's what I came up with. Now, I've got another novel. I have another novel. It's a revised edition of Prayer of the Scavenger. It's going to be released Friday. And that's my redemption. That's my baby there. I mean, I love that. If you saw the movie Shutter Island, my book unfolds just like Shutter Island. You have no idea what's going on to the very end.
Okay.
It's about a serial killer that practices hoodoo. You can't get more original. And then I've got one after that coming out. It's called Paradox 5 Assessment. My paradox is a time machine. My 5 are an elite 5 chosen from the military for their expertise. And what they do, they're going to travel trying to stop Hitler's illegitimate fictitious grandson from reviving his grandfather's dream. And as everybody knows, Hitler was into the occult and paranormal somewhat, so that falls right under my genre of writing. But it's going to be a 3-book series. That's book 1, Assessment. And then there's going to be Deployment, and then there'll be Debriefing. I'm a very prolific writer. I'm hoping Hollywood picks up on some of my ideas, because they need new material, all these remakes and remakes and remakes. I mean,
that's totally true.
I'm working on one right now. It's called A Thorn Within the Roses, and it's about a black female serial killer slave during the Civil War. And I'm writing another one called Immortal Fears, which is kind of like an autobiography, I guess you would say. I'm writing what it was like to live with a grandmother that was a black witch. So I'm working on 2 of them at one time, and I've got more planned after that. So I'm going to be busy for a while. But see, what I do, in my horror, I don't write blood or gore, because that makes my skin crawl. But what I do, I like to get a hold of something. I like to get into the psyche, the psychological part of horror. And I do good with playing on somebody's mind. Because, I mean, you know, even in my characters, I try to put myself in their shoes. So, you know, I know what I'm driving, I know what they think and feel. And like my dark poetry, the poetry I write is just like the horror movies for the 30s and 40s. I mean, we're talking, you know, like ghosts, vampires, you know, stuff that just gives you chills, you know? And I just wish
and go ahead,
I just
Julia.
wish Leonardo DiCaprio could get my Prey the Scavenger, because he would make an excellent scavenger.
Okay, and you have said that if Hollywood were to buy the rights to one of your books, how closely would you make sure that they follow exactly how the book goes? Because as most people know, Hollywood usually will alter stuff.
To the T. Because, see, that's what's so unique about my books. The ideas have never been done. The story topics have never been done. They're unique. They all come out of this morbid head of mine. And, you know, if they don't follow the story, they might as well not have it, because the way I've got it written out, it will turn anybody's blood cold, especially when it's coming out Friday. I'm proud of that, because I did it as a challenge to myself to see if I could do it. And I enjoyed it so much that, you know, I changed my genre from historical fantasy to psychological thriller.
Mhm.
But it's good. It will make your blood run cold. And what I did, Blog Talk Radio gave me this idea. You know, when you're on Blog Talk Radio, like you can interact in the chat rooms, right?
Mhm.
So I came up with the idea, why can't a reader interact in the book? So what I did, I made reference to a murder, and the rest is left up to the reader's imagination, because the reader's demons are not going to be mine, and vice versa. They're not going to be scared of what I'm scared of.
Mhm.
Totally different.
And that makes a lot of sense.
I think it's scarier, you know, because, like, per se, you were talking about Chucky.
Mhm.
One of my big fears are dogs. And, I mean, you know, somebody that, you know, may laugh at me, and they could be afraid of, say the dark, for instance. And their take on a murder my scavenger does is going to be totally different than mine.
Mhm.
That's why I did that, thinking, you know, give somebody a bigger scare or a bigger thrill.
And with any one of your books or poetry, have you ever had like a cliffhanger where you just left the reader thinking so much about the book that they want to anticipate the next one coming out?
Well, what I do is most of my books I leave an open ending. Then that way, if, you know, they want a second one, I can go right into it. Because, like, the way Prey the Scavenger ends, I'm telling you, anybody that reads that book is going to be floored. Because they don't have any idea who the killer is. They don't. I just put quite a few twists at the end that you don't know what's going on until the very end.
Okay,
I got the idea of Hoodoo. I got the idea of Hoodoo from the movie The Skeleton Key.
Okay.
And the killer, I watch all these shows on TV, you know, about serial killers. And my husband said, well, why don't you write something you know about? Write about serial killer. So I came up with a serial killer that practices hoodoo.
And you said that your grandmother was a so-called witch?
She was a self-professed black witch.
So what was it like growing up with her, since you said that you were familiar with this type of genre?
It was different, I'll say that much. She was into the black arts, and she used them for her own personal gain. And I don't want anything to do with that. I mean, I saw her cast spells and all this stuff. I've seen it in action. It is real. There is nothing, I don't want nothing to do with it. But it just made me comfortable, you know, in the horror genre to write, just scary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I can thank her for that.